Trying to go live on okay, there we go. On Instagram. You are not showing up on Instagram. At
No,
all. It's like a blank screen next to
that's
you
funny.
on Instagram.
That's funny.
Yeah, seriously.
Can't
It's
do great,
weird.
yo.
Yeah, it's a blank screen, but you're showing up here, so this will go out to the other platforms.
It might
So
just
have
take a
you
minute.
got, huh?
I said maybe it just takes a minute.
It maybe I'm showing up, but for whatever reason you're not showing up. I don't know. That'll make no sense. But you showing up here. All right, you want to do the introduction today?
Yeah, guys. Hey, guys. Good morning. Happy Thursday. What's today? What are we going to say today is? Thriving. Let's just do thriving. Thriving Thursday.
Mhm.
You've been listening to Biz Chat Daily with your hosts, London Nikole and Tracy V. Brand strategist here and impact strategist, as Tracy V. Allen likes to call herself, which I love the title. Because here's the thing, too. I would get right into selling. And that was going to be my first thing, but I was going to get right into selling. Listen,
Okay.
I know we have to jump on our conversation. We're kind of like, you got to join the show. That's why you got to be here every morning so we can pick up. We're both a little spicy. So if you
Mhm.
ever had a spicy friend or a girlfriend where you was talking about what that man was doing yesterday, and then you call your friend today and you pick the same conversation up like nothing ever happened, we're your girlfriends, we're your business girlfriends in the morning that want to get you started on your day.
Mhm.
Because a lot of us, we know how it is. It's kids, it's life, it's health, it's all the types of stuff. But if you get that jump start in the morning, especially with two of your good girlfriends, it kind of gives
Mhm.
you that energy to push through the rest of your day. And I was going to jump right on top of Tracy when I was talking about selling, because again, we're in quarter 4. Everybody, I feel like, is either pushing something or you're taking a break from pushing something, where I feel like in this conversation, we're going to kind of meet in the middle. So if you are taking a break, but you still got to do a little bit of the stuff, but if you're not taking a break, maybe you are on full throttle mode for quarter 4, we're getting right into it. And the reason I was talking about Tracy being an impact strategist, because I was really thinking about all the things she does, and it leads down to your impact. How
Right.
your brand is actually doing what it says that it's actually going to do.
Mhm.
And I was picking that up because we were talking before about people hiding behind their titles, hiding behind their companies, hiding behind that stuff. Now you're in quarter 3, which for you is all about fundraising, getting
Mhm.
out there, because you're right in that holiday span, right? How
Correct.
is it so? And then we're just jumping on the first thing this morning. How is it so easy for you to jump right into that selling mode? Like, because I feel like you're on as soon as you wake up in the morning. How are you able to just like jump right into it?
Into the selling mode. Well, it's not even jumping right in it. It's a mindset, right? So I literally had this conversation with my daughter yesterday. So I was telling her, like, when I wake up in the morning, I have some two autoimmune diseases. One of them causes me to be in pain consistently. So when I
Right.
wake up in the morning, I'm in pain. My day starts with pain. I go to sleep and I'm in pain. I wake up in the morning, I'm in pain. And some mornings, like this morning, I feel like hell warmed over, literally.
Right.
Right. So this, what you're seeing here, is me just putting on a brave front for you right now, because as soon as this is over, I'm probably going to crawl back in bed because I am in extreme pain. But what I have to do is to talk to myself, right? I have to be the hype man for me. Okay. Because if I
Right.
cannot hype myself up, nothing is going to happen. And my motivation for hyping myself up and pushing myself forward to do what I need to do is because there's nobody else to feed me. Okay. I have bills to pay. I have to put food on the table. I have to keep the shelter over my head. So I need to do whatever is necessary to make sure that I am promoting and pushing my business forward on a day to day basis. Yes, you can take breaks. I do take breaks. When it gets too much, I literally just do what everybody else does and I lay down and I play dead for a bit. But I only
She said
allow
I
myself.
laid down.
Yeah, I'm
She
serious.
said I laid down.
Because you're just laying in bed and watching TV or just, sleeping or mourning or whatever it is because you're in so much pain. But I only allow myself 3 days to do that. That's it. 3 days. Because after the third day, your body is like, oh, so this is our routine. And it gets so accustomed to doing that, it will continue to do that. Right.
Right.
So 3 days is what I will allow myself. But literally every day I have to speak affirmations into my life. I have to be my best motivator. And that's how I get into the selling mood. I know that if I don't do this, because I always tell the story about the time when my car got repossessed because I got too comfortable in my business, right? And for a long time, I couldn't tell that story because it's embarrassing, right? And
Right.
after that happened, I was just like, oh, this is real life. I don't have my paycheck from teaching to rely on anymore. I'm not going to
Right.
get paid every 2 weeks, or I'm not doing temp work anymore. So this is
Right.
it. This is how I make my money. And if I don't do what I have to do, I am not going to be able to make it. So that's why when I get clients who complain and tell me all about the 20 million things that they have to do that's preventing them from making money, it really aggravates me because I'm just like, hey, we all got ish to do. Right? We
Right.
all got plenty. I'm a parent too. I may have been a girlfriend to somebody or a wife or what. We all have a myriad of different things that we're dealing with. We just need to learn how to prioritize things and determine what is going to keep us where we need to be in our lives and push forward. And I'm not saying people are not going to have obstacles. I'm not saying that you're not going to want to give up at some point in time. But
Right.
again, you have to determine what you need. So yeah, that's how I get into the selling mood on a daily basis, or just running my businesses, period. And because of my illness too, I think I've told the story many times, I had to learn to outsource and hire other people to help with running the business so that I am not the key component. We talked about that before. You can't just be the key component. You can't be the business all the time, right? When you start off initially, probably you are going to be, tell me if I'm talking too long, but
Right.
when you start off initially, you're going to be. But
Right.
as your business grows and as your life expands as well, you're going to need to figure out how you can remove yourself from being the business and being a part of the business. Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think for me now, that shift of, because again, we were talked about titles, what do you do, and the whole nine. For me, it's that purpose piece in impact. I just feel like you don't hear it when you call yourself a brand strategist. So when I call myself a brand strategist, or, some people use the term brand architect. I made up image designer. You got to come up with something snazzy for the kids these days. But for me, it's still rooted in being there for your community, being there for other pieces, not other
Mhm.
pieces, other people. And you look at the pieces of the puzzle a lot differently. That's how I kind of look at it. So once you do get past, hey, I got to take care of myself, feed myself and the whole nine, because that can get daunting. To me,
Mhm.
it's like, hey, you're there for other people who can't get out of bed this morning. You're there for other people who can't do the stuff that you're able to do, and that whole nine. But you did say something before. I kind of want to jump to that. You talked about community. You talked about being able to step back. And yesterday we were talking about trends moving forward with community, moving forward. You stopped right there. We kind of got into the money, and then we said community. And if I have
Mhm.
to put those two pieces back together to, like I said, pick you up from yesterday, where do you still see how community is going to fit in, how running your business is going to fit in going forward in 2025 with all the new policy changes, all the new stuff that is happening? How do you see marketing and branding in 2025 and going forward?
I think right now we have a heavy reliance on social media for marketing and branding. I think we're going to have to incorporate some grassroots marketing and branding. I call it the MAPS, right? So the marketing, the advertising, the promotion, and the selling. Some of that is going to have to go back to basics, which are the
Yeah, I
grassroots,
will.
right?
I
The
will.
advertising in publications, the going out and doing outreach, right? Creating your own type of platforms outside of social media that you can connect with individuals. Like I said, you're going to have to reach out and physically touch somebody. So for those of you who don't like to be touched, you don't like to be in person, you as a business person are going to have to wear different hats. I don't like to be touched. I don't. So people who know me know most of the time I'm not gonna hug. I gotta really like you and know you to hug you because I'm like, I don't know what you got going on. I just it's a weird thing, right? But
Right.
we're going to have to learn to just put your baby wipes. That's what I used to do, and your hand sanitizer in your pocketbook, and shake
Okay.
some hands, and move on, right? But
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
have to build those relationships, and once you start building those relationships, the people who you're building them with will understand your quirks, right? And it will be okay. But you are going to have to do some grassroots marketing moving forward. I think build
Yeah,
community.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that whole space is coming back, and we
Mhm.
talked about it a little bit yesterday. And I think that's where a lot of people are about to fall off at. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people who were scamming and scheming and doing stuff online, or the exact thing we got into was how we said that we felt like more people were going to really focus on their expertise or their niche, because
Mhm.
before they're trying to wear all the hats and promote all the stuff just because it's a money reach. But how we're doing stuff now is people really want to know, what are you known for? What are you good at? What can you actually do? What problem are you going to solve for me? How does that fit in my life, and so forth? We did just say something else before, and I kind of wanted to jump back to that. um we're having to go back to actually physically touch people and like see people.
Mhm.
Yes, I think you're going to see more marketing companies now talk about like door to door advertising. People do. You're going to see more
The
companies.
small
That's what I
meetups.
believe.
Mhm.
It's going to be very back in that time. What
Yeah.
was that? I want to say that 2016 type of era.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be very like small groups. You're going to see nonprofits, churches, and that type of do small groups, small
Mhm.
sessions, meeting every day, coffee shop meetups. I feel like, again, you're going to see all of the companies like, hey, I'm going to pass out flyers. We're going to go door to door. We're going to go to the mall. We're going to promote you. Local radio stations, local
Mhm.
publications. I think all of that is going to come back, because for whatever reason, again, when we think about media, we just think social media and not billboards, advertising. We have forgotten all of this other media that still is making money, and people are
Mhm.
still seeing it. But yes, I think we're gonna really have to go outside and be outside. You get what I'm
Go
saying?
outside and
Even if
touch
it's
some
an
grass.
hour. Listen, even if it's an hour of your business, and if
Yes.
not, I think it's gonna
Yes.
go back down to. And here's my twin. So let me throw that in. Here is my 2025 prediction. I think we're
Okay.
going to get back into teams,
Okay.
and I think we're going to get back into collaboration, because I think you're seeing more celebrities bring up their hairstylist, their choreographer. They're talking about their behind the scenes people. I think that's going to trickle down to other people as well. They're going to really get into, I need a publicist, I need a manager, I
Mhm.
need a marketing person or a PR person. I think we're going to do that. And collaborations. What we're doing right now is a collaboration. I think
Mhm.
you're going to see more people build in collaboration.
Yes.
And of course, I think communities are going to come back.
Mhm.
However, I think those communities are still going to need communities. So again, I'm going to cancel that out. So I think it's going to be team collaborations and community.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can agree with
that's
that. I think that the era of I can do it all, because I can chat
yeah,
GPT it or Google it, is going to go, because a lot of people are burnt out, and um they're not at their full capacity of what they can do and how they can do it and how much money they can make, because they're
right,
trying to keep all the money for themselves.
right,
And I think we see a lot of this like in the music industry, where everybody wants to be an independent artist because they don't want a 360 deal. And then you see this with other entrepreneurs who don't want to share, they don't want to pay a consultant to do something. And I always say, it's harder to and more expensive to correct an error than it is to do it right the first time.
right,
So just having people who are niched experts is going to help all businesses to move forward. And the money, this is what I don't understand either, is that money is not made just to acquire and spend on expensive bags and trips. It's cylindrical. It's supposed to help your community as a whole grow. It's supposed to help everybody in the ecosystem to grow. So, yes, you're going to keep a good portion of it for yourself. So, when you have a rainy day, so you can retire, so you can leave a legacy for your friends. But some of it has to
right,
go back into the ecosystem. And I find one of the things that we do too especially in our culture, is that we spend too much of our money outside of our culture. So let's just talk about the fact that someone will come to me, they'll see me on social media, I'm talking about my business, they've come to webinars I've done, they've come to speaking engagements I've done. They know I'm an expert in what I say I'm an expert in,
Right.
okay? Because they've been able to take tangible things from what I've said and implement them. But
Right.
they will come to me and want me to give them a litany of referrals, this, that, the other, like they the damn CIA, right? When they would go to someone else and take them at their word and get scammed, and then come back and be like, oh, such and such scammed me. But you don't have trust in your own people. I don't know where that came from, but okay, that's how I feel though, right?
Right.
That's literally how I feel. And we don't want to spend money within our community. We spend money everywhere else besides within our own communities.
And this is, I do see that, and I do agree with you that, and I think this is when we talked about the idea of influencers or personal brands working with nonprofits and businesses. This
Hmm.
is why I think that is such a key component. This is
Hmm.
why I think it can really, really help. I think we do have to start promoting it in a twofold situation, like a marketplace.
Right.
I literally think we have to start looking at our communities like a marketplace. And
Hmm.
I mean, no disrespect, because everybody else is.
Right.
Everybody else is.
Exactly.
Everybody else looks at our community and they're like, oh, that's prime real estate. Oh,
Hmm.
this would be a great place to put a mall. This would be a great place to do this, and skite the prices up because they're going to pay. I don't know why we're not looking at each other in the same capacity. Like, oh, I got paid, and this is a black grocery store here, or this is a black owned wine company over here that I can buy wine from, or this and that. And I think it does come from a lot of influencers and people who don't have businesses also sharing the word too. I think we do have to own that responsibility, and also make sure that we're saying that to our community. Because I think we both, it's a duality. I think we both have that responsibility to ourselves, to each other. I'm going to be really honest. I
Hmm.
really do, because we do it with Target. We do. Target isn't asking you to promote their business or anything, or promote
Right.
their brand. And
Mhm.
we do that all the time. Hey, I got this from Target. Hey, I got this, or X, Y, and Z. And I think we need to be equally as proud when we have other goods and other, you know what I mean, tangible things that we're able to sell and trade off. So I do think
Well,
we have to start asking more of that from our community, and also doing that too for our community a little bit more.
well,
What were
I
you saying?
think
I'm
we
sorry.
judge. I think we judge our community at a different standard than we judge everything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
So
most definitely.
if we don't have super duper exceptional service, you hear this is why I don't buy with black people. This is why I don't
Right.
support black people, right? But you will go down the street and get the same service from someone who isn't black and you would not complain. But we hold us at at exorbitant standard that we
And
cannot
I think
reach as
because,
human
and I'm gonna
beings.
be honest, I think it's because we know we can perform at such a high level and at such a high standard. I want to say that is one thing about us. I do love as Black people. I
Mhm.
love that we can sit here, and when we make a cake, when we make food, it is gonna taste delicious. It's gonna look great. You get what I'm saying? I think a
Mhm.
lot of things we do perform it at such a high level. So when it
Mhm.
comes to customer service, or clothing, or how we see stuff, I think because at this level of the game, we do expect that from us. I know I do. I would, if we had a black
Yeah, but
school,
sometimes it's
I would
unrealistic.
expect it to be Hogwarts. I don't
I'm always
disagree
going
with
to give
you.
my best, but if I make a mistake, I should not be judged completely by the
Yes.
mistake I made and
Yes.
forget everything else that has happened. That's what
Agreed.
I'm saying.
Agree. And I think that also goes back down to, and this is me talking about you, it has to be educated. I think we have to
Mhm.
be educated in the skill of customer service.
Right,
I don't think
definitely.
we know what that means anymore.
Mhm.
So I think even if we look at the front end of a Shopify or your own company, is it
Mhm.
an easy process to check out with you?
Mhm.
Can I instantly go and buy something with you? And after I buy something with you, do you email me back? Do you touch base? Do you
Mhm.
feel me?
Mhm.
So I think it is a twofold situation. As much as that person is grateful for shopping with your business, you should also thank them for shopping there, or reward
Oh,
points, or
definitely.
systems, or
Absolutely.
community. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. In your case, I think the biggest thing to sum it all up would be education and learning that soft skill. Because I do believe everybody should work in a service based, like a retail store, or like
Mhm.
a fast food, you feel me, restaurant. Because I think you would get customer, you mean, you get that skill set developed,
Mhm.
dealing with people, dealing with conflict, trying to see where the person is coming from, having empathy, understanding all the metrics that go into place at a,
Mhm.
you feel me, drive through window or working in a retail store. But again, I'll sum it up and say I agree on both ends. And I
Mhm.
think it just comes back down to having that skill set of customer service.
So are
Of
we
this,
saying that
you feel
most
me?
Black people don't have customer service? Because
I
I
would,
mean,
I
this
would
is
like,
something that we
let's be
see all
clear.
the time.
Let's
Like,
let's be clear. I think a
uh-huh.
lot of us don't. I do. I
Really?
think about it. Black people, I feel
Well,
like,
I
are
don't know.
the
Maybe
only group.
my experience with Black-owned businesses are different because I really have not experienced that with buying or patronizing Black-owned businesses. I don't have that issue.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a twofold situation. I think it's
Mhm.
both. I think with customer service, I think a lot of Black people have to learn how to give it and receive it. I think
Mhm.
it's a twofold situation. Going into a
Okay.
place, yeah. I think it's twofold, because if you're saying that, hey, they would rather buy with somebody else and then come to you and get it
I'm
for
just saying what
cheap.
I see on TikTok. For me, that's not me. Like I said,
Yeah,
I don't have a
that's
problem patronizing Black-owned businesses, and I have not had bad experiences with Black-owned businesses that I can come out and say, "Oh, that's why I don't shop at Black-owned businesses." And if I do
right.
have a bad experience at a Black-owned business, I don't say it's because it's a Black-owned business that I had
True.
that bad experience. I just
And
say
that's
they
what I'm
got
saying.
bad customer service. Period.
But see where it games on the customer service, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a
Mhm.
twofold situation. And I can't sum it up as just Black people at
Right.
all. I'm not just saying Black people. I
Okay.
think it's
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I think it's a both across the way. That's what I'm saying. I think
All right.
everybody.
Got
I
it.
think a lot of people don't know how to be a customer. And I
Uh-huh.
think some people don't have customer service. And that's what I'm
I
saying. I
agree with
think
that part. Some people
it,
don't know how to be a customer. That is
so
a
that's what I'm saying.
very
It's
true
customer
statement.
service, which is etiquette. What
Yeah.
types of restaurants you can do certain things at. Also,
Mhm.
it's that
Mhm.
restaurant too. Have you laid out what the standard or the culture is? Because every brand has a culture.
Mhm.
And I don't think people think about that. I think we think like, oh, I have a business, and if it goes like this in Johnny's business, it's supposed to go this way in my business, but it doesn't go that way. How Johnny runs his business and how you run your business is going to be the culture of whatever that customer service is. So
Mhm.
in that
Mhm.
business, your customer service of somebody coming in, like I see on social media, hey B, that
Mhm.
that is how you address your audience. You mean that, but for a different person and a different customer, that may not work. So that's what I'm saying with customers. Again, it's education. That
Right.
whole customer service etiquette, all of that to me is an experience, and it's all in one. So that's what I'm saying. I
Mhm.
don't think it's just a Black owned business thing or anything. I think everybody needs it, because even if I say generational,
Mhm.
th- these younger ones,
Mhm.
they a lot of them don't have customer service or etiquette or anything along that line. And that's why you see or older generations always fussing about how they come into an airport or a restaurant, or how they talk to them, getting change back, not throwing it on the counter. To, all of those, I think, fall in customer service and etiquette, and just again
Yeah,
hospitality,
and
that
to me,
whole
that's the
hospitality space.
responsibility of the business owner. Say what you may about like places like Chick-fil-A, right? We're not going to get into the politics of Chick-fil-A, but they do a really, really good job with training their staff on
They
customer
set the
etiquette.
culture,
Yes, they do.
to the
They
point
do.
that you use it in skits. When you
Mhm.
do another skit, you pretend to be the Chick-fil-A employee, going
Mhm.
and doing everything for that person before they leave you, to make sure that their experience was great.
Mhm.
But we do
Mhm.
skits about different stuff. You set the tone and you set the culture. And again, they come in, they have to be educated on it. They have to be shown why this works for us, how this is a part of, and that's etiquette, all in that hospitality space. And I do think that industry too, saying that too in my 2025, I think the education industry, finance, and hospitality industry, I think they're all going to boom.
Yes, I do. I think we're going to see the pop up of a lot of like micro schools, and more charter schools. But some of these charter schools are not cannot be owned by big corporations, because then they'll just continue the agenda forward. But I think we're going to see a lot of homeschooling as well. A lot of people are
Yes,
going to go back towards homeschooling, because if the incoming president does do what he says he's going to do, it is going to directly impact the Department of Education. Um, but do I think a lot of people are equipped to homeschool? Absolutely not. I homeschooled my daughter, graduated her at 14 years old, but I have an education background, and you don't have to have an education background to homeschool, but it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of planning and execution to homeschool your children effectively, so they're not functional illiterates when they come out of school. Because that's how they're coming. A lot of them are coming out of the current school system. They're functionally illiterate. And
right.
that's just facts, because they just did a study with a lot of the major universities, a lot of Ivy League universities, and talking about how there are people in Yale and Harvard and all of these places, and they're not functioning on a college level. They can't read and write on a college level, but they're getting into Ivy League schools, and that's because
That
our
says a lot.
education system has definitely it has failed our students on
Yeah,
a
that
whole.
says a lot. That's
And
embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
yes, it
That's
is. It
embarrassing.
really
If we can speak as Americans, just overall Americans, just
mhm,
Americans, that's
mhm.
embarrassing. That is
It is.
embarrassing. That is embarrassing, especially when we think about how America looks, how it talks, how it's supposed to be this superpower.
Mhm.
Bless me.
God
That's
bless.
embarrassing.
It is.
Bless me. That's very embarrassing. So
Mhm.
embarrassing. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
But it's the reality of what we have. And I think all
Right.
of these factors that you talk about does affect how we show up in businesses as business owners and as customers of those businesses.
Very true.
Because one of the biggest problems that happen when you have a poor education system is a lot of cognitive dissonance and the inability to read between the lines. Um, comprehend, just to comprehend, period. Either taking things too literally or not taking them literally enough, because there's no ability to use context clues to figure out what people are truly saying. Yeah. And you see that in every aspect of business, with business owners and their customers. Yeah.
Yeah, I got quiet because I got nothing. I got nothing. In the
Yeah.
words of Laurel, you ate with that. I got nothing. Like I'm just
Yeah, but it's the truth. And I can tell you that as someone who's spent years, over 15 years in the educational system, that is it. And the more I did
how does that
research,
develop?
we would literally have kids in special education who were diagnosed with, I can't remember exactly what the word is, cognitive something. But these are kids who they cannot understand logic. If you want them to move the pen from here to there, you have to say, move the pen from here to there. You can't say it in a way where it's not clear that the pen has to go from point A to point B, because they cannot read between the lines. That is a true disability. There are people like that. They cannot read between the lines. They must be given specific directions. So you know how in class they ask you if um
I have so
if
many
John were
questions.
blah blah blah, whatever. I can't even think of a sentence right now. If not, then why? Type of questions, like a two-part question. They can't do those types of questions. So I would have to make alternative exams for them, alternative assessments for these students, so that they will be able to understand what I'm saying. So it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Yeah. There are
I
people
feel
out
like you should just. I'm like,
there. No, there are truly people out there like that.
so my question comes from like, where does that stem from? Is that like a lack of imagination? Is that a lack of like
It's just
where
how
does
they're
that?
wired. That's whether it's something that happened in utero, or um something that happened because of how they were raised, in the formative years. I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to speak on that because I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking it could be a combination of both or one or the other, right? Um, that's just how they are. And it's not something that can be taught, at least not in all of the research I have done after, because I taught middle school at that point. At that point, no, no. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how much research I did, no matter how many strategies I implemented, I have not had one student who was able to overcome that and understand what we were trying to say when you had multiple directions or um, multiple directions and instructions.
Yeah, I can see looking at it from that level and then, stepping up and looking at the landscape right now, how
Mhm.
confusing the world can seem.
Yes, yes. Remember,
Because it's
too,
like
we talk
people
about
don't
people
say,
who don't have an internal voice, right? So that's another thing. So again, all of this comes back. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, there are people who
I
don't
know
have an
you're not. I
internal
mean, we've had
voice.
this conversation before, but it's always crazy. I guess
Yeah.
because I'm trying to wrap it all up and kind of just say, I can see how
Mhm.
confusing tons of stuff would be. I can see
Yeah,
how life would be confusing. I can see how business would be confusing. I can see
absolutely.
how then you're dealing with passive aggressive people and then
Mhm.
aggressive people. With that whole mix, I can see how so many things can be interpreted
And
so many
when we
ways.
say that, when we're talking about marketing and all of the stuff that goes along with marketing, and this is where maybe we need to have courses on just customer service, understanding your audience, right? Now that I'm thinking about
Because,
how to understand your audience, because we talk a lot about messaging and making sure you're
right,
speaking directly to your audience, but also you don't understand that your audience has a lot of nuances in how they receive the message. So even though you're
right.
speaking directly to them, you may not be speaking their specific language. And you
And
cannot speak to everybody, of course, but understanding that your audience has a lot of subcategories that you may need to send out messages towards on occasions. So yeah,
and
I think that's a
this is exactly why I wanted to study. And it's a combination because I'm studying now sociology, because
mhm,
how you communicate, because when you use terms like luxury, that
mhm.
automatically comes with a certain type of customer service.
Right.
So as soon as you say that, it
Mhm,
comes with it. So it's not just a price tag. That price tag is connected to an experience, to a tone, to, you get what
mhm,
I'm saying, my customer service of the place, how you
mhm,
follow up. It is all connected. So people
mhm,
are thinking, if I just use luxury and I use the color gold and I charge a high price, that makes me a high price business. And I'm like, not at all. Not
right.
at all. Not at all. Like,
Yeah.
how are you setting the tone? What is that entire experience from top to
Mhm,
bottom? Because that's going to be rooted in your customer service, in your
mhm.
culture, and how you deliver what you're delivering all the time. And I
Right.
think people get that lost. So when you
Mhm,
go to places like Gucci or Hermes and you're walking in loud and you're walking in doing it, and people are looking at you crazy because of the tone in which they're trying to talk to you and deliver. They're trying to shop for you. So you
mhm,
can't come in louder than them if they're doing all the talking and they're
mhm,
trying to service you. So again,
mhm,
I agree with you. That's why I said I think it's a duality, that
mhm,
most people don't know how to be a customer in those places because they've never shopped in those places. And if you're doing an unboxing on social media or posting something on social media, you're
mhm,
talking about the product. You're not really talking about your experience of walking in Gucci. You're not really talking about the experience of Chanel, or if somebody gave you a private shopping experience. You're
mhm,
not. You're just unboxing the luxury product. So I think
mhm.
sometimes we're confusing customer service with the unboxing experience of a product.
Hmm. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
can
that's why
definitely
you're
see
like, yo,
that.
I'm a luxury company and you're using
Mhm,
85 tissues to wrap it up. And the unboxing is nice, but your website, your communications, your visuals are all,
mhm.
it's going. And so people are like, so the only thing they have is price point at that point.
Right, right. Yeah.
And I
And
don't think
that's a
people
true
realize.
statement. Your price point has to reflect your customer service and everything that your brand encompasses, everything from your logo, your colors, your website, your messaging. all your promotions, your advertising, whether they be still or videos, everything has to encompass luxury. Yeah. So
And
I do agree with that.
that's why I call it make up your brand, because
Mhm,
your brand has a hairstyle, it has colors. She
mhm,
wears something every day. She has a uniform. She
mhm,
talks a certain type of way. She does stuff, and
mhm.
then those things are translated. So how she
And I
looks is
think one of the
translated
ones
into
that
a
we talk
logo.
about a lot when we talk about that is like Tabitha Brown's brand, right? Yeah.
Right. If you take her brand, Tabitha Brown, and I pick
Mhm,
her apart, she is now a logo. That's why you see the afro on the logo.
mhm,
If I take
mhm,
her apart with her colors, those same color palettes, it's her same clothing collection. So they're
mhm,
translatable. If I take apart her voice then becomes motivational, inspirational, family,
mhm,
how she speaks. So who you are as a person, if somebody takes it apart,
mhm.
that is a visual representation of your brand, but you're living it out. So that's
Mhm.
why somebody's like, you're off, or it's off putting for your brand, because you're saying, you're going against yourself. And I don't think people are putting that quite together, especially
Mhm.
again when we jump off into luxury brands or specialty brands and that type of stuff.
Mhm.
So again, I think that's why your community is so important, because your community is going to do a lot of talking for you. I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says. Beyonce doesn't have to talk because the Beehive does all her talking. Why would she have to talk? Right now, if you go up here and say Beyonce hadn't been singing since she was 3, she don't gotta say nothing. They're gonna pull out receipts in 1940. This is her. They're going to talk and they're gonna defend you no matter what happens here. This is why your community and your audience is so important.
Mhm. Mhm. It
So
is.
when
And
you
that's why
can't
I say
talk,
getting
they
back to
can talk.
building authentic communities is going to be a massive push to me in 2020. And you can already see it if you are, someone who constantly
Let's
peruses social
let's
media.
use the
You can
brand like
see.
school.
Mhm,
School. That's a whole brand. That was a personal brand who
mhm,
started a gym, and then he turned out and started a whole community brand based upon him seeing that people were trying to build communities and completely missing the mark.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I definitely think that's going to be the space. That's the wave.
Okay.
Is really getting your community together. And again, your community can look like a combination of your core fan base, investors, other business owners. So
Mhm,
your community could be eclectic. I like to say it's eclectic. It could look completely different from how somebody else's community could look like. And I think that's a bigger conversation too, is your community is like a hand. It's broken down into different members. The
mhm.
whole point of them being a community is how do they cross over? You and what you guys care about is a crossover fact. But again, your community, I think we limit the power of community when it's so important.
So, what are 3 strategies that you would give someone to start building their community currently, if they want to start building a community?
Look at your lifestyle and your hobbies. So
Mhm,
my first tip would be look at your lifestyle and your hobbies. It's
mhm,
something that you're doing in your life that you enjoy now currently with a hobby, and they overcross.
mhm,
Um, and I think that's where you can start to make your connection. Two,
mhm,
I would then go to the market. It still goes back to you. What are you currently missing in your life or in your business life that you feel like you need help with? And
mhm.
three, what is something out of those two you can see yourself being a part of or you leading for a long period of time?
Okay.
And when I say long period of time, could it be every Sunday, like Sunday dinners? Could it be once a quarter? Like,
Mhm,
what does
mhm,
long term look like for you? It could be once a week, every day, but
mhm,
that would really be my pillars of where to start. And I think once you do that, you'll start breaking down, oh my goodness, I can do this, but I can't do this. And I only can do this once a year. So
uh-huh,
again, I feel like if you're looking at your lifestyle and what you enjoy, your hobbies, and what's missing, and
mhm,
that third piece doesn't look like every month, or if it doesn't look weekly, every month, or every quarter,
mhm.
then that's probably not a community. You're probably talking about a conference or an event or
Yeah.
an experience. So your
Mhm,
community has to be way more frequent. And that's how
mhm.
I feel like you can know. It's like a problem solving, A plus B plus C. If you
Yeah.
had to grade it, how often is it in your life? Is it in your life weekly, monthly? Then that's
Mhm.
probably more of a community versus, again, if it's quarterly or yearly, that's a conference or a coming together or a gathering. And I don't think people can, you know what I mean? Sometimes we don't quite separate those things.
Mhm.
What are,
Mhm.
let me ask you this, because I know in this time, a lot of people are looking to make money right now
Mhm.
because it's the end of quarter three. So if you're not already, like I call you, I call her big balling. I was like, first of all, balling, big balling, because you gone. Whenever you
Mhm.
can take a whole the end of the year off like that, you balling, you balling. Um, and I already know what's planned out and stuff for you, but
Mhm.
because I know it was a time like you really, really went hard. Because I feel like you have to really go hard to set yourself up
Mhm.
for you to be able to take that type of break
Yeah.
and not worry. Because
Mhm.
I last year I talked to you, you were like, this is the stuff I got to do, when I come back. But you were never worried about your business as it stood there.
Mhm.
So if somebody's like, yo, I have to make a whole bunch of money right now, it's the end of quarter four, I'm outside, I'm in these streets, I'm on the internet, I'm here, wherever you tell me to go, Miss Tracy, I can go and I can do. But I have to make money as a personal brand, as a business owner right now before the end of the year. So I got Black Friday, you got Thanksgiving, Christmas, Jesus birthday, all of these holidays coming up. What
Mhm.
are like three things I need to really focus on?
Um, Getting visible,
One.
right? Your messaging
Okay.
and building some relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Building relationships. Uh-huh.
get visible, get clear about my messaging, and then connect with people.
Mhm. Because that's how you're going to get the money. You got to get visible. People got to know you're out there first of all, right? If they don't know you're there, they don't know what you do, they can't support you. You
Right.
have to make sure that what you're telling them is what they want to hear, right? So you have to be solving a problem with them for them through your messaging, right? What is their problem and how you can solve that problem? Because that's what I'm looking for. And who you're going to get to support you is if I hear something like, let's say you're scrolling on TikTok and the barefoot shoes comes up, right? And I'm just like, yeah, I hate sneakers. I want to start going to the gym. I want something lightweight. I got wide feet. This says it has a wide toe base. It looks light. It looks bendable. Oh, that will solve my problem immediately. They don't have to sell me any further. The person said it was good. They love it. It makes them feel like they're connected to the earth. I don't like heavy shoes. Bam, I'm buying that, right?
Right.
Because you spoke directly to me. It was a problem I had, and you solved my problem in your messaging, right?
Right.
And then after that, when I say build relationships, so now that person that's your ideal client because that's the person who's going to hear they have a problem, you're helping them to solve the problem. They have the finances to build. Sorry, they have the finances to solve their problem. So they swipe their card, they buy your product. Now you have to
Right.
build a relationship with them moving forward so that when they need another pair of shoes or you bring out another product, they're going to purchase. Then there's a second wave of people where you're going to get visible, do the same thing, make sure you're in front of your audience on a consistent basis, and you're going to tell them a similar message. But for them, they don't have this is your target audience, right? They don't have the finances to solve their problem immediately, but they're interested in your solution. So they know they need you, but they just can't use you right now. So those are the other people that you have to continue to build a relationship with. So you're going to give them some type of premium. You're going to make them feel like they matter. Like, oh, okay, you can't pay what I need you to pay me right now to solve your problem, but here's a caveat that you can use to help to try to move your problem, to ease the pain that you're currently having. And then you continue to nurture that audience so that when they do have the finances to solve their problem, you're going to be the first person they come to. And you do that through regular engagements, through newsletters, through advertising, redirecting your audience
As
as
I
well.
like to, this is I love it because as I like to say is what you just gave them was an appetizer. And
Yeah.
then you just came back and kept saying, did you want a water? Do you want a refill? Are you okay? Your
Yeah.
advertising that came across was the menu. Would you like the dessert
Mhm.
menu, the drink
Mhm.
menu, this
Mhm.
menu? Because they're going to eventually buy one of the two while they're on the appetizer. Because some people are on the
Absolutely.
appetizer for a time because they're
Mhm.
talking, they're interacting, but it's your job to keep coming back to service them.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
exactly how I look at it from a media point of view. So
Yeah.
after if they're talking to you and they're there, they're interested. They're,
Yeah.
let's
Mhm.
just start there. They walked in the
Right.
restaurant. So I'm not, that's the biggest thing I feel like I learned in sales is I don't count anybody's money. That's
No,
not my job.
you cannot.
That is
No, it's
not
not
my
your
job
job.
to count your money. And you feel me?
Mhm.
We're not in finances. We're not the bank. That is not my job.
Mhm.
However, I know if you come in this business and I give you great customer service, oh, you're gonna buy some. You you
Mhm.
uh, you. I'm from around the way. Like there's a
Mhm.
Washington voice. You leaving here with something.
Yeah.
And I think if we
Absolutely.
really get back to customer service, I
Mhm.
do. I feel like you'll land somebody. And whether that's getting their email or their phone number, you feel
Mhm.
me? You're going to get something from that person and they're going to get something from you.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. But yeah, so I think that kind of wraps up
I
what we
love it.
think is going to happen in 2025.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I'm
So,
excited about it.
yeah. What we would love for you to do is to follow us on social media. That would be great. Hey, Julia, how you doing, girl? Follow us on social media. And drop some comments about other topics that you want to hear us talk about around marketing and business on a whole, right? Because this is Biz Chat Daily. So drop us some comments. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about moving forward. And like and share, of course, because sharing
Right.
is caring. We just had a whole conversation about promotion and telling other people about other people's businesses, right? That is how you build a good ecosystem. So go ahead and do that. Any last words for you, my dear?
Oh, and if you have a nonprofit or you have a business and you're like, yo, my nonprofit and my business is like really, really struggling, and I think I'm like struggling with my brand or the messaging or something is off, let us know what your business and your brand is so me and Tracy can look at your business and your brand and we can bring you on the show and sit here and go over your business and your brand. So as much she's going to break down your back end, so your systems, what's going on, do you need to hire extra staff? Are you needing to fundraise in your business? Do you need to outsource? What does that look like? And then I'll be breaking down your front end, your website, your graphics, your social media. Is your messaging coming up so they're in a relationship together and they're not moving apart? So we would love to sit here and do that. And if you're
Mhm,
struggling with your personal brand and you're like, yo, I can't put myself out there, I'm scared to get on camera. Or if you're saying, hey, I'm at that part in my personal brand, I got to outsource. I
mhm,
got to get a team. I got to get a business manager. I need somebody else. Me and Tracy will do the same thing. We're going to break down your brand from both ends. From the back end as a personal brand, do you have systems up? Are your communities up and running? How are you getting people to know about who you are? And I'm going to hit you on the front end. Are you using radio, traditional media? Are you doing interviews? Are you going out here? I got to find a word. And Tracy is like a word connoisseur, so I'm going to get her to help me with it. I call it like when a musician, if like a musician and a politician got together and had a baby, that's who you would be, because you gotta make the content and you gotta go out here and kiss the babies and stand on the
yeah.
stages. So whatever that word is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out. But that's what we're
Mhm,
gonna focus on as a personal brand. So if you are struggling with those two,
mhm,
from nonprofit to personal brand, leave your comment, leave your name below. So next week we can go through your brand. You can come up here and we can sit here and talk.
mhm.
And I think that's it, Tracy. I know I had wanted to make sure they knew that part. That was it on my
Yes.
end.
Yep. Yep. That's it. So we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7:30. We're on every day at 7:30. Yeah.
Oh, and
Very
get your
early in the
coffee.
morning.
Yo, listen, this is a comfortable conversations. We want you to look
Yes.
at it as like two of your friends and we're in
Mhm.
your business because we've both been there. We've both been there.
We're in
Interesting
your
enough,
business,
we met each
literally.
other in community. Me and
Yes.
Tracy met each other because of a community, a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
community. So
Mhm.
understand how important community is and who's in your circle and your friends. So have your coffee in the morning. Get your stuff. So if you are taking your vitamins, your medicine, if you're getting dressed in the morning, before you have to go out. I'm doing it the same way. As I'm not sitting
Mhm.
here, Tracy over there writing. That's what you see her doing. I got my tablet. So when we're talking to each other, understand we're also getting notes too.
Mhm.
And we're taking notes like, oh my God, like she said something. Tracy was saying something on Monday when we were talking about being a connector, or if you were really good at like networking, what you should do. And the whole, I was just in here scribbling, got right off the phone. And
Mhm.
then I think it was Tuesday, we talked about branding and doing
Yeah.
different stuff. We
Mhm.
built this whole brand out. We're going to do shows. We want you guys to come to the show. We want,
Mhm.
like, it's a never ceasing thing when you are in business. You're always working or always coming up with ideas. So in the morning, have your coffee out, have your mug out. Do not be afraid to be like, hey, I am struggling in fourth quarter. Nothing is working for me. Let us go
Mhm.
through your systems. Let other people see your systems, because they're going to see it anywhere. If they shopping, they're going to see your website.
Exactly.
They're going to see it anyway. So bring
Mhm.
people in, bring us in the fitting room with you, or come out of the fitting room, walk around, let us
Right,
see
and
what it
let us see how it
is. We're
fits.
not judging your roles. We are
Yes.
not judging the granny broad. We are not. We have all
Mhm.
been there. So this is more of a fun, safe space. We want to hit you with topics that are trending, things that are happening. From, is TikTok really going to be banned? How to shift your audience. We're talking
Mhm.
about nonprofits who went to jail, so you don't go to jail either. Because again, you feel
Yeah.
me? So we want you guys to come here with the questions, with your
Mhm.
personality. It's first thing in the morning. And I use Tracy because she be ready to go. She be ready to talk about money. You see how she over there? Because she thinking about money. I guarantee you
Oh
we
my
will get off the
god.
phone.
But
I'm
I
like,
said that
Tracy,
in the beginning, right? That's what gets
she
me out of bed every time.
she gonna be in pain. But oh my God, y'all. Let me tell you the funny thing. This is Tracy thing on the top. I be like, Tracy, how you feeling today? She be like, girl, I am too depressed this week. She was like, but depression got to come back next week because I'm too busy for depression to come over. I was like, wait, Tracy, what? She was like, girl, depression was trying to come over this week and I had to reschedule because I got to finish. I said, Tracy, who reworks the depressor? She was like, oh, I did,
Listen.
because I'm
Mhm.
too broke to be depressed this week. Maybe next week, but I can't do it this week. This is, again,
That's legit. That is
this is a
100%
safe
how
space,
I be over
y'all.
here thinking.
Listen, so this is a safe space. You might come up with the business idea as you're on this conversation in the morning. You might sit here and say, you know what? My messaging is crazy. I was
Mhm.
talking to Tracy completely. It's not that I don't know that I help people in media training, but I'm so focused on other stuff. Sometimes you forget your basics. Sometimes you
Mhm.
forget the fundamentals of the game. So we want to make
Mhm.
sure we're giving you the fundamentals, the fundamentals
Yeah.
of the game, so you can stay motivated and you can do this,
Mhm.
because this is a long journey. And a lot of things I learned from Tracy, and one of the biggest ones, there are always going to be distractions. It is always
Right.
going to be something happening.
Always.
Something is
Always.
always going to happen, always going to happen.
Mhm.
Your job on this journey is to get to where you're supposed to go in the midst of it. So stop
Mhm.
and kiss the babies, stop, give the code away, stop and help, and do what you have to do. Pack your stuff up in the morning and you still got to go your way. We just want to make sure that we're a part of your day, because again, we know how lonely it can feel, how isolating this can feel.
Mhm.
Everybody doesn't get it. Sometimes it's hard to build community. And
Mhm.
listen, we just want to be two women in your life from a distance who can, you feel me, from a
Well, we are
distance.
gonna try and reach out and touch some people next year, though.
No,
But go
we are
ahead.
all jokes aside.
Mhm.
Um, Listen, especially in this I-95 where it's so much
Mhm.
business that is happening, we just don't want you to feel like you're behind the eight ball, or you should have been further where you're at, and you should, because we've been there. We've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I should have been. I should have. You
Yep.
feel me? The speaking tongues
Mhm.
and the whole nine. So we just want to be your girlfriends and your partners in the morning, so you can stay motivated, you can stay locked in, and you can know that you actually can get this stuff done. And yeah, that was it. That was it, Pastor. I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done.
Well, I'm gonna
I'm
do a shameless plug. If you're a nonprofit and you are looking to make some money during this giving season, you need to go get this book. It's on Amazon. You can get it on my website as well. It's not going to be, of course, bound on Amazon, spiral
right.
bound, because they don't do that. It's going to look like this when you get it from Amazon. But regardless, it is year end fundraising, getting to the money, because hello, that's what I help you do. So for TikTok people over here, year-end fundraising, getting to the money, year-end fundraising, getting to the money. It is a book and a workbook all at the same time, right? So you can
Listen,
read and actually do the activities necessary so that you could go out and implement and get to the money. Okay,
and my
year-end
Beyonce voice,
fundraising
I
is
be
where
getting to the money.
nonprofit organizations make 30% of their revenue, So this is what you need to get. If you can't afford to pay for my consulting services, this is me in a book. Okay. This is me in a book. It's $30, I think, or $35. You can afford that. Come on now. That is not even getting your
Listen,
nails done. So go get the
I'm
book.
telling you, in my head, all I'm hearing everybody saying is, "I be getting to the money." Come on,
Yeah.
and everybody, man,
Go
hey,
get the book.
listen,
Yeah.
fundraising is super critical. For me, it was the 30%. For me, it was 30%.
Yeah,
For me, it
30
was
they get
like
30% of nonprofit 30% of the funding that nonprofits raise happen in these last 2 months of the year.
so you're missing all of your money right now by being
Mhm.
too afraid to ask, and you're in the season of giving. So
Mhm.
go get it.
Yeah.
You feel
Most
me?
mouths don't get fed.
Period. So if you know
Mhm.
you're a nonprofit, and let me say this too, if you are a business owner, you should not be acting like you're a nonprofit and you're just waiting on grants, like you're waiting on Jesus to come get. You should
Right.
not be waiting. You need to go out here and get it. So if you're a
Mhm.
business, you still need to be fundraising. And I'm going to shamelessly plug her class and plug that class, because I
Mhm.
know even in my business, I need to raise money because I'm trying to physically build a studio. So if you want people to give you money, it is a lot easier to say, hey, we have raised $20,000 so far. Can you give us $5 to get to our goal? Versus saying, give me, give me, give me, and I haven't done anything, and I haven't.
And I know
So
we've been
remember,
trying to wrap up, but let me piggyback on what
yeah,
you just said. And contrary to popular belief, nonprofits are not the only people that can do fundraisers. For-profit people can do fundraisers too. I work with a lot of for-profit businesses, social enterprises, social entrepreneurs, helping them to raise money through fundraising as well. So fundraising is not just an activity that nonprofits take part in. For-profit businesses can take part in it. This is a good way to get started. Again, shameless plug. Yep. But it's not a shameless plug. That's what I'm on here to do, is to sell. Do you think I'm on here just to talk to you? No, I'm going to be honest with you all the time. When people are out here talking, they're talking with a purpose, and the purpose is to sell something.
yeah.
Okay?
Listen. So
So,
whenever people are like, I just want to help you, and I just want to give and give
no.
and give, and no,
Mhm.
they. It's a motive. They're getting you
Yeah.
to some type of goal and getting you somewhere. So again,
It's
I
just
just
like
wanted
I
to make
said in the
sure.
beginning. I'm never going to lie to you. I'm going to always be transparent and
It's
tell you the
because
truth.
it's
And
not, because it's not worth it. It's not
yeah.
worth it. The lie you got to tell, we got to tell to
Mhm.
you, then to remember the lie. First of all, when you're
I got too
spicy,
much
it's
going
enough
on
of
in
that.
my head to
No,
remember the lies.
listen, I ain't got the time. I don't have the time or the capacity. So listen,
Yeah.
get that book if you are struggling on both ends. Like I said, if you're building a business, you know you're in business and you have to raise money, to break your money goals down and to know this and then to be able to speak to it is so much easier
Mhm.
than going out here feeling like you're just pulling your hair all over the place. But yeah,
Yeah.
Tracy, I just wanted to say that before about you. And I think that's it on my end.
All right. Okay. Again, guys, thank you for joining us this morning for Biz Chat Daily. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you're listening to us, because we're on like 4 different platforms right now. I'm on TikTok because I'm trying to get my TikTok views up, and so that I can go live with somebody else on TikTok. Right now, I can only
You're
go
trying
live
to help
over
me
here.
get on TikTok, y'all. Like the old people say, the TikTok. So
Yes,
follow me
the
on the
TikTok,
TikTok.
right? So we're live on TikTok. We're live on my Facebook page, my LinkedIn, um, Instagram, and YouTube. So
Tracy
make
out here
sure
in the
to,
streets.
yes. So make sure to go ahead and like us across all different platforms. London is London Nikole. You can see her name at the bottom. You just put it together. That's her name. Most of her sites. Same thing with me. You'll see different variations. You know what we look like, so you can go to the page and figure out if it's actually us. And
Right.
leave a comment. We like to have engagement. We like to know what you're thinking, what you thought about the show. So make sure to do that. That's what it's about: visibility, getting engaged, building community. We said that many times. So go ahead and do that. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 7:30. Bye. Oh no, wait. I'm ending this wrong. Okay, end the video. And then I end over here. And now. Okay. Gotta talk myself through
That is
it.
getting to the money.
Yeah. Okay,
And
so
everybody, hey.
this is done. Are we done?
I think we're still live.
End the stream. So what did I not do here? Okay,